buzzer in your ears, boy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Texas Sports World. I'm your host, Ethan, and we got a lot to discuss. As you could tell from the hold on, I want to make sure that everything's coming through sound wise. Sounds a little weird. Give me just a second. Got to make sure everything sounds all good, fine, and dandy before we get this thing going. Hello. Okay. I think it's picking me up. Pretty well. Let's go ahead and just turn this up a little bit. There we go. Okay. So yeah, as you can tell, this is going to be a Arch and Quinn discussion podcast for the most part. Obviously, we'll also get into the NFL and the Texans and stuff, and some games of the week that we like to keep up with, behind enemy lines, if you will. But first, let's get to the most pressing issue and the more bigger deal of all of it, and that is, of course, last week against UTSA. Quinn goes down with what was described as an oblique stomach issue somewhere in that area. Just couldn't get any, as a quarterback, he gets a lot of turning and motions and stuff. So it'd be very difficult for him to do anything, really. So he went down. Quinn Arch comes in, first play, touchdowns, third play, 67-yard touchdown. Really just lit it up. And you got to feel, you got to feel a little bit bad for Quinn. This is a kid who was also, let's not forget who he is as a guy, as a quarterback. This is a kid who's also the number one ranked quarterback in his class. He is also a guy who has been here since 5-7. He started 5-7. He was here at 5-7. He was here for all of that, 5-7 to 8-4 to playoff. You know what I mean? So and now he's quarterbacking a team that's trying to get to a national championship. So. And he said as much. He said that this is a national. Sark came out and he said it with, he laid it all out there, put his what on the table, and just basically said, this is a national championship team, and he's the quarterback of it. There really isn't any question about that, and that's what, or at least that's what Sark made it seem like. And I honestly, in my personal opinion, don't really think that there's nothing to me that Arch could do in these next two games that would quote unquote unseat Quinn Ewers from being QB1 at Texas. There's really, because you're talking about a ULM team that's ULM. Okay, oddly enough, was Quinn's first start, but you're talking about a ULM team that's his first start, and then you're talking about a Mississippi State team that's bottom tier SEC. That just lost to Toledo, got boat raced by Toledo. So I don't think we should really put a whole lot of stock into. Now, don't get me wrong. I obviously hope that Arch goes out and he performs. I hope that he plays well. And these starts are what's going to matter later on down the line. For looking back in the past, Garrett Gilbert. One of the big issues about Garrett Gilbert was he didn't play much before having to go in the national championship, and then that's a confidence killer. You go in now. Granted, we were close the whole time, but still, your first start, you lose in the national championship, and then after that, everything that happened after that happened. And obviously, Garrett transfers, goes on to SMU, goes on to have a great, pretty good career in the NFL. Pretty sure he has a Super Bowl or two. So, no shot at Garrett Gilbert, but it kind of gives you this is the idea that these starts, the amount of time he's playing, because it's not just like he's getting it's his first start, but he's got action before. He got action a little bit last year. He's gotten it quite a bit to begin this year. He's going to get it a lot the next two games. That's going to pay huge dividends, because next year you're talking about walking into Ohio State, who could very well be the number one ranked team in the country at that time, or Texas, of course, if all things go the way we want them to. But you're talking about at least top 5 good matchup in week 2, a legit top 5 matchup, not like listen. Us coming in this year and doing what we did to Michigan is, yes, it is a huge win, and we shouldn't take it's going there. And now if it had been home and we did what we did to them, they're bad. They're just bad. Let's just be honest. Michigan is bad, and so but going to the big house, doing what we did, let our foot off the gas, and it took them all the way to like what fourth quarter to score a touchdown. It really could have been 31-6 ending. It really could have been even worse than that. It really could have been. We really could have scored probably 50 points on them. So, but you're talking about going into Ohio State against a team that could be a top 5 matchup at that point in time against a legit top 5 team, where his first start would have been Ohio State. And then it's been reported the last couple of days that Kelvin Banks has been limited this week and he may miss this. So you're talking about a team going against ULM with their backup running back, possibly backup left tackle, probably RB3 if we're being honest, because I don't think Trey Wisner is going to play that much because there's no point. The same reason you don't listen. The top echelon of your roster, I would say the ones and the twos, you need to. These next 2 games are going to be about getting your young guys playing time. And if you can't handle it, if you can't handle these 2 teams with your young guys, that's you should be able to handle it. You should be able to handle UL Monroe and Mississippi State. Obviously, not all your starters. Obviously, you don't want their first game to be OU when they're all playing again together. Like you don't want there to be a month between, everybody play. But I'm saying, obviously maybe you get them in there the first, quarter and a half, maybe get a good lead, but let the young guys take care of it. Get a lead, let the young guys get their reps in, get their tape in, and let that be what happens. There's no reason to have your starters, out there like what Ole Miss and Tennessee are doing. Like yes, their offenses look great, and yes, they look fantastic, but they're playing like the school of the deaf and the blind, and they're letting their starters play all the way into it just seems like a lot of that is. I'm not putting too much stock into Ole Miss or Tennessee right now. And I think, the Tennessee, we'll get into the matchups later, but we'll try to stick to Arch and Quinn. Now the second part of the title of this video, what it really means. Okay. What does Quinn and Arch, what does Arch starting this week in the next couple of weeks really mean for the future of this team and for the future of Quinn Ewers? To be honest, not a whole lot. Okay. It shouldn't really mean a whole lot. Because like I said, this is Quinn's team. You're talking about a Quinn that went into Terrytown, beat a playoff Alabama team, a playoff level Alabama team in Terrytown by 10. Okay. Then you're talking about a Quinn who goes into Michigan, into Ann Arbor, the big house, and makes it look like it's a spring game. Okay. We got to put some respect on that. Cat's going crazy over there. Hey. All right, he's good. But yeah, so you got to put some respect on that. And I really do feel for Quinn, man. I mean, you could tell, he's walking into the tunnel. He just dejection is the one word that kind of came to mind for me. It was he just, you work so hard he works so hard to get back from his injury, be healthy. Now, with that being said, if there was a time in the year where the injury bug were to bite us, at least it's this chunk of the season. Okay, because you have a bye week before Oklahoma, so nobody plays, everybody gets healthy. You're talking about Quinn being rested for 3 weeks going into OU. You're talking about a Jaden Blue being rested for 4 weeks going into Oklahoma. And now, this is kind of off topic and doesn't really matter, but you're not gonna. I don't think we have a 1,000-yard rusher this year. I think, and quite honestly, I think there's a chance that Jared Gibson leads this team in rushing. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay, he leads the team in rushing right now. So now, granted, obviously, this is a part of the schedule where he's going to play a lot, and but he's going to play a lot for the rest of the year because you saw how much he played at Michigan. Obviously, that's what Jaden Blue going down, but the more he's played, the more he has played. You know what I mean? So the more he's played well, the more they're kind of giving him a little bit more every week, And I think last week he goes 10 for 65 or 10 for 75 or something like that. So he averages 6.5 yards a carry. I'll take it. And he's physical. I feel like he's going to be a real asset down in the goal line. I think Jaden Blue's between the 80s. Trey Wisner's kind of between the 80s, between the 20s. I mean, so I think having the good thing about Texas right now is the depth. The good thing about Texas is the depth we have. We can. It's not like in years past. If Bijan were to go down, or if Bijan and Roshan were to go down, or when Sam went down, that was it. That was basically like, crap. Oh, all right. Guess we'll see what happens. But we're talking about bringing in we're shuffling in just another number 1 rated quarterback. There's only been 3. Texas had all 3, and we're shuffling in the third one. Okay. So there is clear depth. You're talking about a freshman Colin Simmons who leads the team in sacks right now, or is right there up there with it. So the depth we have across the board, we can withstand a little bit of and the way the schedule is set up, you can withstand a little bit of fight. You can withstand a little bit of hiccups here and there. Texas is finally in a position where we get to play the villain. We're finally in a position where everybody's coming on our backs. It's coming at our back, not because they're Texas. They're not coming at us because they hate Texas. They're coming at us because we're number 1 and Texas. So, there's a lot on the line just for the sake of the program. Like, is this all a facade? Is this all? Are we going to let these injuries define us, or is our depth going to be able to be the reason that we overcome it? And I feel like the way this team is constructed right now, we have the depth to overcome a lot of the injuries we're going to have. Trevor Gooseby, you don't want him. Same thing about Arch. You don't want him, his first start being at left tackle, the second most important position on the team, to be his first start to be in Ohio State. You don't want that. I promise you don't want that. So I think they're doing pretty good. We're doing just fine. We're doing really good, actually. We're doing really good recruiting. And I think that's going to pay dividends here in the next couple of weeks. You're going to start to see, the younger guys really start to step up. I mean, you saw Leifau last week you saw Ty Anthony Smith play really well. And Ty Anthony Smith, we got to talk about A&M for a second. Okay. Ty Anthony Smith and Anthony Hill were both once committed to A&M. Now you see them at Texas getting playing time, playing really well. Meanwhile, you guys are now, granted, they're kind of in the same position a little bit, not really, but a little bit at quarterback. Just hear me out before you turn the show off. Hear me out. Both quarterbacks got hurt. The backup came in and played really well. Now, granted, Weigman, I don't know what to say. He doesn't look very good. He's not even on Quinn's level at all. I mean, I'm sure Arch would be starting. If Arch would have went to A&M, he would have been starting at game 1, if we're being honest here, or very soon after that. It really wouldn't even been a discussion. So that just shows it's a testament how good Quinn is. He's been able to hold off Arch. Now, there were reports all spring and all summer that they were literally going back and forth. Sometimes Arch would have a really good day. Sometimes Quinn would have a really good day. Sometimes it would kind of go back and forth. They'd put together strings of days. They'd go back and forth. And that's just iron sharpens iron. I think they're both pushing each other to play really well. And in an offense like this, it's really friendly for both Arch and Quinn and their ability to, Arch looked really good, guys. He looked really good. His ability to get out the pocket. He didn't even really set his he just launched it on the little post to Ryan. He just launched it. He didn't set his feet. He didn't really even turn his shoulders all the way. He just gripped it and ripped it. It was a really good throw. And the second one to Ryan Wingo where the safety fell down, but still, what a throw. So but then, literally, guys, this is crazy that we're even having this conversation about Quinn and Arch. When Quinn went into Ann Arbor, did what he did to them, he was literally a Heisman candidate. So you're talking about replacing a Heisman candidate with a redshirt freshman quarterback just because he got hurt, even though he's going to come back and be healthy in 2 weeks. This and don't sit here and try to compare. Don't sit here and try to compare Oklahoma and the whole Caleb Williams, Spencer Rattler thing. That is so not even close. Okay, Spencer Rattler isn't even in the same stratosphere. Now, granted, Spencer Rattler's in the league now, and he's a backup. He's doing great. Whatever. Cool. He went to South Carolina, did his thing, went to the NFL. Cool. Caleb Williams went to USC with Lincoln Riley and all that. But this isn't even the same. Okay, Spencer Rattler at the time was not a Heisman level quarterback. I mean, he just wasn't. He wasn't. There's a reason they were so quick to put Caleb Williams in the game. There's no reason. There's been no. Quinn has done nothing to lose the game. Quinn has done nothing to lose the job. Okay, that's like let's say you go to work. Let's say you go to work, right? So you're at work. Okay, you get sick. It's you. Bless you. You got to go home now. Okay, well, let's say you're at home for like a week because you're sick. You're at home for like a week, and then they hire somebody like a temp to do your job, and then all of a sudden they're like, never mind. Even though you were doing really good at your job, they're like, never mind. We want to keep this guy instead. And it's like, but I didn't do nothing to lose the job in the first place, right? Okay, so what is the point of Quinn losing the job? Okay, this is a guy, like I said earlier, went from 5-7 to 8-4 to literal playoff. Top before it was 12 teams, guys. We're talking about top 4 teams, and he beat the number 4 team. I think we just got to listen. Arch is coming in. There's no expectations of Arch, which is great. There was a lot of Quinn when he got here, and that's why I think that's part of the reason why he struggled. There was a lot of weight on his shoulders, and he had to get through a lot and do a lot of stuff, just to be good. It wasn't all about his talent level. Yes, he was the number 1 rated quarterback in the country, but you still got to come in and play. And he was started at Ohio. His whole thing was messed up. Like I feel like if Quinn would have just committed to Texas. Now, granted, Quinn not coming to Texas is why Tom Herman got fired. So there's a good possibility that Quinn going to Ohio State or coming to Texas first means Tom Herman keeps his job and we don't even get to see Steve Sarkisian. So, but let's just, for the sake of the argument, if Steve Sarkisian was here and Quinn came straight in out of high school, not even an early enrollee, or let's call it early enrollee because he early enrollee at Ohio State. Let's say he did it at Texas. I think we don't see 5-7. We probably see 8-4 first year. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why the timeline of Arch and Quinn is all messed up, along with Quinn getting hurt last year. Because if he doesn't get hurt last year and we make it and we go to the playoff and we make it to the playoff like we did, there's a chance that Quinn goes in the first round. But there was questions about his body, which is kind of why you feel bad for him because it's hurt again. Now, granted, this isn't a contact injury. It was a non-contact injury, and it's something that sounds to be a little bit not bad, considering that Steve Sarkisian said that if this was an SEC game, he'd be questionable, which is not doubtful. So we're out. So that's kind of where I'm at on the whole Arch and Quinn thing. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think that when Quinn is healthy, this is his team. He's going to come back. We're going to beat Oklahoma. We're going to go do great things. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't think that there's anything Arch can do to completely take over. He's good. He's good. I don't want this to sound like I'm hating on Arch, and I don't think he's really good, and he's going to be great. He's going to be really good, and this playtime is valuable. And it is good that it's happening this way. And maybe we look back on this and we are excited about it. And we're like, oh yeah, see now it makes sense why he's playing. So we got all this, So that's kind of how I'm feeling. That's kind of how I'm feeling about this whole Arch and Quinn situation. Now, moving on. Actually, first I'm going to. I wonder if I could take a tad bit of a break, mainly because I need to get a drink. I'm a little bit thirsty, so I wonder if you know what it means. Okay. So you know what? We're going to do this. Give me about 20 seconds. I'm going to replay the intro. It's about a 9-second countdown, my little intro, and hopefully I'll be back. And if not, it's going to be awkward and it's going to be fine. So I'll be right back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm sorry I made you wait too long. Okay, I did my throat. I was feeling it in my throat. I had to get something to, feel better in my throat. Okay, so we're gonna we might touch back. Oh yeah, you know what? Actually, here's what we're gonna do. We got to go through the games this week. So give me just a second, and we are gonna go through what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling about the games that are happening this weekend. Woo. All right. La-da-dee. It's not great internet around here, folks. It is not great interwebs around here. Just give me a second. The S Pen app is loading. Okay, so tonight we got a top 25 match. I'm gonna have to catch that one on Fox. You got Nebraska and Illinois. Listen. I called it. I want everybody here to know. Everybody here who's gonna listen, who's listening now, I called it. Nebraska is gonna be somebody's season ruiner, and they were my underdogs for this year. They might not make the playoff, but they're gonna get dang close, and they're gonna ruin somebody's season this year. Now, Illinois, they could do the same thing because I don't think anybody really had Illinois, doing what they're doing, going 3-0. Kyle McCord playing really freaking good. Fran Brown, or they got that team rolling over there. But Nebraska, I called this at the beginning of the year. I think that this Nebraska team with Dylan Raiola, Isaiah Nayor, former Texas guy, those guys that Matt Rule finally came back to college where he was great, and now look at him. He's actually 3-0 at Nebraska. Scott Frost is somewhere really upset right now. Obviously, you got Texas UL Monroe. We kind of talked about that one already. I think, I'll probably have my final score predictions out before the game tomorrow. But I think we know how that's going to go. Their defensive coordinator out here talking mess like he's come on, get out of here. We got to all. So get this. He said we got kids on this roster that beat Arch in high school. Okay, sir. Excuse me. I have a question. Did you know that Arch lost to 6 high schools in his high school career? 6. 1 in Florida, 5 in Louisiana. None of which those kids attended any of those schools. So no, sir. Your kids have never beat Arch Manning. So come correct before you get dissected. All right? Let's see. What's another good one? What's another good one that's going on? Ooh, USC, Michigan. USC, Michigan. So Alex Orji is going to start this week for Michigan. We'll see how that goes. I don't see. I still haven't seen a whole lot of life out of Michigan, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think that USC, Miller Moss, Zachariah Branch, they might be a little bit too. That offense is a lot like Texas's offense. Not a lot like it at all, really, but their ability to get guys in open space and score points is very similar to Texas. I think schematically they're different, but the result of the plays are often the same. So if they can find a way to stop all of that, I just don't see it. I think it'll probably be USC 27-17, somewhere around there. So that'll be a game to watch for sure. That'll be a game to watch for sure. You got Utah and Oklahoma State. Okay. Oklahoma State, they've been good for a minute. I mean, I don't know why we were surprised that Mike Gundy he's been good. He wins, finds a way to do it with like 2 and 3 stars. I don't know how he does it, but he finds a way. Him and his mullet. I think there's something in the mullet. He puts something in his hair, and all of a sudden he's able to get guys. I don't know, man. He might need it. That's crazy. Utah, another Texas quarterback. Oh, I don't know if he might. Let's see. Let's see if he's playing that game. This game. Let's see. Okay, so Cam Rising is expected to play after injuring his right hand in week 2 versus Baylor. So, again, it's his first game back. He missed all of last season with a knee injury. So, that's right. So, he will be back for Utah. that's a big game to come back to. You know, Oklahoma State, they're a stingy team. They're a stingy team, stingy defense. They like to air it out. They like to, you know, do a lot of different things. And you know, Mike Gundy's really good at substitutions. He got Texas with that in the Big 12 championship game. So, but that'll be a good game. That'll be another game to watch. So you're talking about a 3:00 game, 3:00 ranked matchup, 2:30. And tonight. Okay. Let's see. What are the other one? Oh, okay. Here's the big one. Not big one, but Tennessee and Oklahoma. Okay. Tennessee and Oklahoma. Let's talk about it. So, like I said earlier, I don't really respect what Tennessee's doing right now. I don't think that Oklahoma has, look, I don't like them. We don't like them. Nobody likes them. That's just what it is. But we can admit, we can be honest, and we can just tell it what it is and not what it isn't. And they have a good defense. That's just what it is. Their defense is good. Offensively, not so good. This week, they should be getting a couple of receivers back. Andrew Anthony, I think, is coming back. Another one, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, is coming back. So they should be kind of getting their offense fully put back together. So this will be their first test, really. This will be Tennessee's first test as an offense playing a defense, and this will be Oklahoma's first test as playing an SEC defense. So there needs to be eyes on that game. Let me tell you, because I feel like earlier in the week I thought Tennessee was going to kill them, if I'm being honest with you. But after looking into it, doing some listening, doing some researching, doing some looking, doing some watching, I think it could be closer than I think like 27-21 Oklahoma, somewhere around there. Because really, if they can just get a couple of stops, 2 or 3 stops, I think it'll change the trajectory of the game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. They just have to get stops. They just got to get 2 or 3, maybe even 1 or 2, because it may come down to who has the ball last, if we're being honest. So, and that game is at the same time as the Texas game. So if you're watching that game on ABC, be prepared to get your game broken into with an Arch touchdown. It's just probably what's going to happen. We can quibble about it, but that's just the truth. Just breaking it down for you. Texas A&M and Bowling Green. Marshall Reed gets his second start. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, they said that it's probably going to be. Elko came out and said it'll be a week-to-week basis for the rest of the year, probably. So there's obviously not a whole lot of trust in Weigman right now. And quite frankly, I don't really. But Reed looked really good last week. You know, if Arch didn't break that one safety, then we'd be talking about Marcel Reed breaking that dude and turning him into a hyena. He was trying to run on all fours. That was crazy. So obviously, I think it'll probably be 30. What is it? A&M 22.5. So yeah, it'll probably be somewhere like 37-12, somewhere around there. All right, those are all the games of note this weekend. Obviously, Ole Miss is playing Georgia Southern. WTF? What are we even doing? Come on, Ole Miss, play somebody, please. Stop trying to score 85 points. This ain't basketball, man. Go play somebody and actually have to play defense and actually have to play offense, please. You're a bigger fraud than what people are saying Texas is, because we haven't played anybody. But technically, our strength of record is third, according to ESPN FPI. I'm just putting that out there. I'm just saying what it is. Don't shoot the messenger. Again, I'm just telling you what the truth is and what it isn't. And what it is that we are number 3 strength of record right now. Just saying. Okay. So we're about halfway through so far. Got about where I wanted to get through the, with talking about Arch and Quinn and the record and the games coming up this week. The bowling. There's a lot of good games. Tennessee, Oklahoma is a big one. USC. What was it? What did I say it was? USC and Michigan. There we go. USC, Michigan, and Utah, Oklahoma State. 4 ranked matchups right there. It'll be a good one. So keep an eye out on those. Next thing, kind of moving along. Next thing I want to talk about. So we're moving on to the Texans, moving on to the NFL, moving on to the league. Up a level. There's levels to this, and we're taking it to the next one. So obviously, Texans 2-0. They come out. They beat they beat the hell out of Caleb Williams, literally and figuratively. This man was on the bench looking like this. He was like so done with it. I think it was like 15 pressures, 7 sacks, or something like that. Crazy numbers. This is why you bring in Daniil Hunter, and obviously we haven't gotten to Nico Autry yet, but Folu Fatukasi played really well. They all play. Aziz Al-Shire played really well, punching people. Love it. I love it, man. I love this Texas team finally got some attitude. I love that this Texas team finally got a little bit of Fafo. You know what I mean? Around to find out. They got a little bit of that in them. And it's because a lot of times we were the punching bag. A lot of years we were the punching bag. We were the team that everybody would talk shit about. Everybody would say, oh, that team's going nowhere. They look lost. They're at the bottom of the league, yada, 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 yada. And all of it was true. It was all true. Nobody can. It was all true. We were a dumpster fire, bottom of the league, WTF. Somebody help us. And someone help me. That's what it kind of felt like going on in Houston right now. So, now you're talking about a team that has a MVP Pro Bowl level quarterback on their roster. But this is also a team much like the parallels between the UT and the Texans is kind of crazy. Outside of the quarterback, but both teams are undefeated so far. Both teams lost their top 2 running backs first couple weeks of the season. So this week, the Texans are going to start Cam Akers. And I've been a huge advocate of Cam Akers this offseason. I thought that he was a great pickup. He's a great runner in the scheme. He runs a lot like Joe Mixon. He's a little fluid, you know. He kind of like steps through the holes. He doesn't really run through. It's weird. It's like he steps through and kind of like, I don't know. He does like, you ever, like in Mr. Incredible, where a long girl, where, the long lady, what's her name? Mr. Elastic, Miss Elastic or whatever, stretches her legs out. That's kind of what he looks like when he's running through, so we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, the injury report on Wednesday was really, really long. It was, let's see, I pulled it up before we started the show. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players on the injury report, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them were starters. Now, as the week went on, they started to dwindle down a little bit. Obviously, Dameon Pierce and Joe Mixon didn't practice all week. Joe Mixon dealing with that ankle injury on that hip drop tackle that should have been called. It's BS. And then Dameon Pierce is dealing with a hamstring, I believe. Yeah, hamstring. So he's going to be out. Joe Mixon is doubtful. He's out. Now, Juice Scruggs, we have to get Juice Scruggs back. He was you saw a huge drop off in run game between week 1 and week 2. And Indianapolis arguably has a better interior defensive line and just front 7 than Chicago does. So that's kind of a clear indicator that obviously Juice Scruggs is a big reason why our run game did so well in week 1. So we need to get him back. I feel like getting him back, Cam Akers should be able to be fine. I mean, honestly, listen, guys, we should be asking for like 60, 70, 80 yards out of Cam Akers at the most. We shouldn't ask him to do too much. We have a Pro Bowl high level MVP caliber quarterback, and you have 3 number 1 receivers. Throw them the ball. You can always say, run the dang ball. You know what I mean? You ever heard that one? So obviously, you want to establish the run in this league, and you want to get Cam Akers going. But I wouldn't lean too heavily on him. Obviously, he fumbled last week, costly fumble, made the game way closer than it needed to be. If we lose, you could have arguably pointed to that play and been like, "Yo, that's your fault, my guy. You fumbled on like going into the end zone, man. Come on." So that's a big deal, big turn of events, and losing your top 2 running backs. Hopefully they can get back healthy soon. It's a long season. I don't think, I think, Joe Mixon missing a game or 2 shouldn't be, the sky's falling, shouldn't be the end of the world. You would want to get, now the Joe Mixon injury on film didn't look awful. It did look it did look rough. It did look rough, and it looks like obviously he would have needed some time, but it looked like from the angle that the body landed on the ankle. It looked like he was on the low end of it. Like if it had landed a little bit higher, it would have been worse. But it was almost right on the where your toe knuckles are, and he just like his foot gave out. So it didn't look as bad as it could have been. So I think him missing a game or two shouldn't be the end of the world. He's going to come back. He'll be fine. With that being said, though, the only person listed as out for sure is Dameon Pierce. Questionable is Jarrett Patterson, Juice Scruggs, and MJ Stewart. I would think that Juice Scruggs and MJ Stewart will play. And then I would think that Jarrett Patterson will not play. Or he will be suited up, but he will probably be a back. Or Juice Scruggs and him will interchange. Because Jarrett Patterson is the backup center. Other than that, everybody else is good to go. Aziz Al-Shire, he'll play. Don't worry about that. Nico's going to play. Don't worry about that. Kamari Lassiter is going to play. Don't worry about that. Dalton Schultz is going to play. Don't worry about that. So everything, Bolu Fatukasi is going to play too. I think that's all of them. So Kamari Lassiter, I think I might have said that too. He's going to play. So we're coming into this game a little tweaked, a little banged up. You're coming in. You're going against a team that is also banged up. They're missing Jordan Addison and Dallas Turner, and Justin Jefferson isn't going to be 100%, but he's going to play. So that's a big deal. So, there's been a big discussion on Twitter and on fan pages and whatnot about how do you defensively, how do you guard this team, or how do you guard Justin Jefferson and all that? There's kind of the two schools of thought going around. Do you double number two or double number one and put Derek Stingley on number two, and then hopefully try to get their number three to beat you, something like that, or do you have Stingley follow Justin Jefferson all over the place? Now, in last year, if you remember, we played Amari Cooper. I believe the first week we played the Browns, we didn't follow. And Amari Cooper went for like 200 or 300 yards, 230 yards or something stupid. Second time we played the Browns, we followed. He didn't do that. That's for sure. So I think have Stingley just lock in on one guy. Don't look. Listen, Sting, right here, eye to eye. Just follow him wherever he goes. You need to be on him like Y on rice. Okay, follow him wherever he goes, and then let everybody else do their job. Let the Daniil Hunter get to Sam Darnold. Let him just eat him up. Let Folu Fatukasi. I almost said Mario Williams. What the? I wish. Yeah, let's get prime Mario Williams in this. Golly. Will Anderson. Geez. Let Will Anderson go eat. Let Aziz Al-Shire go eat. Just try to keep their playmakers out the game, And excuse me. On the opposite side, you got former Texas Jonathan Grenard and Blake Cashman on the other side. Both really good. They were both really good Texans here. So we kind of did like a whole trade. If you think about it, we got well, not really. Never mind. I was going to say, we traded one linebacker for a tier above and a defensive end for a tier above. So now we get to see the tiers versus each other in a way. So I think overall, though, this is going to be a real tough game. Playing in Minneapolis is going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting game because, the run game for the Texans has been pretty good. We've been stopping the run. I think our secondary has been a little. Obviously, we played really well against Caleb Williams. The 2 picks, awesome. We could have had 3. All that's great. But against a veteran quarterback with a for sure number one, the Texans were that team for a long time with D-Hop. We won a lot of games because of that. Okay, so it wasn't because of Bill O'Brien. I'll tell you that much. I don't care what the heck he's doing at Boston College now. Congratulations, you can coach in college. This is clearly different. That's why Nick Saban didn't succeed in the NFL. He did it in college better because he's a college coach. So it's just different levels. Like I said, it's levels to this. Okay, so I'll have a prediction for both games. UT and UL Monroe, and then the Minnesota and Texans game. I'll have that out either later, probably not tonight because it's my girlfriend's birthday. Happy birthday, babe. If you're watching this, you're probably not, but I love you, and I will see you tonight. We're going to go have some fun. So it'll probably be out tomorrow before the games or before the Texas game. I'll have both of them out. Or am I doing them separately? I'll probably do them all together. So be on the lookout for that. In the Substack, I believe the link is in the description or is in the YouTube page. So check that out. Also follow me on Twitter at Texas Sports World. It's in the top of your screen right there. It's right there. It's right there. And this is my Twitter. This is my Twitter right there. So you can follow me there. But anyways, so I forgot. We're 41 minutes in, and I never told you to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, do that. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. I'm trying to get guests on here as well. Oh, whoa, speaking of guests, hold on. I just remembered. We got to back up. So last podcast I did it with my friend Isaac and my brother Logan. Okay. And we had some pretty hot takes about one Carson Beck. Okay. There were some people on TikTok that did not like. They called us crazy. We don't know ball. You're just saying stuff. You're just a hater. La da 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 la da 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 la da 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 da. Kentucky says hello. Yeah, you won by 1, and it wasn't because of Carson Beck. Okay. And I don't care about this whole Kentucky has a secret sauce. They've been struggling against Kentucky every time they played them. Oh well. Be better. Okay. If Texas did that, everybody would be calling. If Texas went and played, when Texas went and played, I don't know, when Texas went and played TCU or whatever, and Quinn Ewers plays, it's Quinn Ewers. What is Quinn? Is she gonna be good? Is she okay? Is she gonna be the guy? But Carson Beck goes have a 1-point win in against Kentucky, and all of a sudden we're not allowed to talk about how maybe he's a little overrated. That's all we said. Maybe he's a little overrated. It's not a crazy concept. He's a little overrated. Okay. He's playing. You're seeing that this year because they don't have any outside weapons. They don't have a Brock Bowers anymore. They don't have a Ladd McConkey anymore. They don't have all of that. They don't have all these guys that can just go out there. Now they have a good running back, but he isn't the Georgia running backs of the past. That's for sure. He isn't. He's no Todd Gurley. I'll tell you that. Okay. So let's just cool it on this Carson Beck thing. Don't be mad at me and don't be mad at us because we were speaking the truth. Now, the rankings that Isaac put out that he had in that was a little crazy. I'll admit that one. But you can't sit here and tell me that if you go and put Carson Beck on a Vanderbilt, is he even the same player at all? Or do we even know who Carson Beck is? No. The answer is no. And the reason we know who he is and the reason why he's quote unquote so good is because he walked into a program that had already won national championship after national championship after national championship, that had number one class after number one class after number one class. It is not a crazy concept for somebody. It's the same reason that Arch that's the same thing that Arch is walking into right now. Now, is that saying that, Arch isn't good? No, I'm not saying that at all. Arch is good, but I'm not saying Carson Beck is bad either. That's the whole thing. I'm not saying he sucks. I'm just saying he's not like QB1 to me. He's not. Okay, so that's just that. I needed to get that off my chest for these TikTokers who think that I don't know what I'm talking about or something like that. Okay. Carson Beck, he's good. He's fine. Okay. But he's not the number one quarterback in this draft class. Sorry. Hate to break it to you. I would probably take I'd probably take Garrett Nussmeier, maybe. Not really, but I'm trolling. But that's just how I feel about it. Okay. So that's, yeah. I had to get that off my chest before I get out of here. I just needed to let all these people know that that's the truth about Carson Beck. And you're starting to see Carson Beck and the fact that he might not be the best quarterback in the country. And then also, I forgot to bring this up. Listen, guys, I love Arch Manning. Okay, I love him. I think he's going to do great things. I think he's going to play great for this university for the next 2 years, probably 2 to 3 years, maybe. So he plays. So let me get this straight. He plays the last quarter, or maybe quarter and a half against Colorado State, and the last 2.5 quarters against UTSA. Okay. All of a sudden, I saw a rating where it said it was a quarterback power ranking for college football. He was number 1. Huh? I'm sorry. What? Okay, listen. He's good. We get it. He's good. We understand that Arch Manning is good at the game of football. We get it. He's not. You can't have him be number 1. He hasn't played. Why? For what? What has he done to be there? Can we just relax like just a little bit with this Arch stuff? Can we just calm a little bit? Be a little bit calm, please, because there's no reason to put this pressure on him. He's good. We get it. He's good. He's going to go and do good things. But you can't tell me that he may be better than those quarterbacks on that list. But the power rankings of right now, from what he has done, he's going to be better than them in the future. He might not be. It's just we need to calm down. This Arch crap is getting crazy, guys. Y'all are getting insane. Texas fans, you're getting insane. Okay, Quinn is your guy. Let's respect him. Let's give him the love and the respect and the go. Give him a pat on the back if you see him on campus or something. Okay, this man's going through a lot of crap right now. I don't even know if he goes on campus, but you get my point. Okay, so there's no reason he should be ranked number. There's no reason that Arch should be even on a list or any list anywhere for anything. Okay, because my question is if Quinn. Because Quinn was on pace to throw for like 5 touchdowns. If Quinn goes on, is he the number 1 on that list? Probably not. He's probably not. So, why are we putting all this stuff on Arch like he's the next coming to Jesus Christ? Okay, let's just he's going to be good. He's going to go out. He's going to play really well. I do think that for sure. But I don't. He may go out this week and throw for 500 yards. I don't know. And this is maybe all idiot. I may be an idiot, but this is still Quinn's team, and this is still going to be Quinn's team when he comes back. There's nothing Arch can do to take the team away from him. That is true, and you can argue with a wall. Now, with that being said, I think I'm going to get out of here. I did about 50 minutes. I was trying to shoot for an hour, but I think I got everything off my chest that I needed to today. Now, I'm going to go out tonight, and I'm going to think about 100 other things. So when I come back tomorrow, I got that, and I might be coming back with some guests. Isaac might be coming back. I think I'm going to try to get Logan to come back. I might even try to get. I got another friend who I might try to get to come back on. He was on one of our first episodes when we did the mock drafts in the off season. So we got a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day. There's a lot of games going on, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys later. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's day. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank y'all for watching if you watched this far. See ya.
I'm with that beefing on the net.